Hello. Here we are again with my conversation in isolation. Today we have a very special guest, good friend and great guitarist, great composer, great producer. He's one of the top fusion players in the business right now. You know him probably for his own group, Fat, which is fabulous Austrian trio, or playing with Virgil Donati in his group too, or playing with a lot of other people. Well, get your questions ready for Alex Machacek. How are you doing?
I'm okay. You didn't invite me or anything, so I requested to be in, but you refused my
No,
request.
I did not. I was trying to get you in.
I think it's probably censorship from the NSA.
How are you doing, man?
I'm fine. I can't complain enough. I'm good.
I heard you played live recently.
Yeah, last week the Baked Potato started having COVID concerts with only 32 people in there, so less tables. The waitress or the staff wears gloves and masks. I was wearing a mask. It was being live streamed. Um, yeah, it's different,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, we talked about we talked at the beginning of this in like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and
Yeah.
it was like scary, but not. It was not supposed to last this long, and it was not supposed to be like this. Well,
Man, it will last much longer. I like if you follow the numbers, like the spikes that are going up now. I'm happy to stay at home.
well,
Whatever.
that's what we said. My wife and me. We said, you know what, we are staying home until this is done.
Exactly. And whoever is listening, watching, just wear a mask when you're outside. Yesterday I took a walk and it was alarming how many people just didn't wear a
Yep.
mask. And some people, it's not that difficult. It's like, okay, so now we're wearing masks. Let's get this thing done. And then we don't have to
Yeah,
wear masks
of
anymore. It's
course.
that simple.
When I go to the only thing we do actually, literally, is go to the grocery store and
Yeah.
walk out dog around the neighborhood. And here in town, it's not bad. When I go to the town I used to live in, it's like there's a lot of people with no masks. It pisses me off to see that.
Yeah.
It's like, I am taking care of you when I wear my mask. Why can't you
Yeah.
do the same?
Well, just
I lost you for a second.
beat them in the face. Just beat them. Let me try to
That's
keep the
it.
phone like this. Still working out.
Yeah.
And I'm upside down. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, you are
Okay,
like on.
so
That's better.
yeah. No, I was
So,
just holding
Alex,
my head down. Yes.
I know we talked about the gigs you had, for the summer, and all of us have been losing stuff. But you lost the cruise, right? You lost the
Yeah. Yeah. That was right at the beginning before the lockdown started. The first thing was that Trump shut down the country for the Europeans, and I was supposed to play with Fat. So, okay, guys, you're out. Yeah. And then there was this small little period when it wasn't kind of sure will the cruise happen or not, and eventually the organizers just said, okay, it's being canceled or postponed or whatever. But then I thought, okay, now I have to find other people, like local people, if they would do it with me. So I called Anthony Crawford and said, am I gonna die there? I said, no, you won't die there. How much do I will make to die? Anyway, so yeah, it didn't happen. I think it's postponed, which is fine. And let's see
yeah.
when that will happen, if that will happen. We'll see.
Well,
And then after that, I lost a tour in England with Brand X, England and Netherlands. I think we were supposed to go. That was cancelled. After that, I was supposed to go to Portugal with Fat and maybe some gigs in Austria. I don't know. That got cancelled. Yeah, so I'm sitting at home and doing home stuff, which is good.
yeah,
I'm recording a
definitely.
lot for other people. and I'm practicing. And in the beginning, I really enjoyed the quiet and the good air. You know, when there were no cars on the street, that was kind of nice
Yeah,
when you took a
no.
walk around the neighborhood. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're back to normal. But who
Yeah,
knows? Anyway.
and I think it might be too soon to go back to normal at this point. But you know, it's what it
Yeah.
is. For me, I lost a few gigs with my big band, and you know, those are hard because it's 20 people,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
now I
you
mean they are
organize all that
postponed.
shit and then it's done.
I think it's gone. It's like, okay, no, not happening. I'm glad we played. You know, our last concert was in at the beginning of the year. Then after
Mm-hmm.
that, it's been like you said, we've been home working in the studio actually a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
Finally today, I think we got everything we needed, and
Okay,
it's
great.
pretty much ready to go. So next time when you come to Colorado, we can actually do something here.
That's awesome. I can see a drum kit. I can see everything. It's great. Yeah.
And you see
You also.
my little thing back there, your guitar.
Oh, you have my. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not red.
It's not
Yeah.
red, like we said.
Yeah.
I just wanted red.
It's almost a great guitar. Almost. You're that close. Yeah. People, get the red one. Show some class. Not like Socrates. Yeah.
I was gonna go for the red at the beginning.
No offense. No offense, Socrates.
Well, you know, like we talked about it
Yeah.
before, you know.
I know. I know.
No, I really like this the honey one. It's pretty cool actually. Uh, I was gonna go for the black originally, but then I have
Great.
so many black guitars. It's like another black guitar doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I like red guitars and yeah, I'm happy with mine. I'm more than happy. Actually, I already have new pickups. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that according to Strandberg or not, but Ola already hinted at it. We Michael Frank, I think Frank or Frank's Frank
Mhm.
designed pickups and we designed some pickups for my guitar.
Hmm.
And that was an interesting process because first I got like an idea, a guitar with an idea of pickups, and then I told him what I didn't like. Then we met, and he listened to my playing, and I told him what I'm looking for. And then a month later, we met again, and he gave me two options. And so I brought my original guitar and the two options. We constantly swapped those guitars, and I think now I have pickups that are really pretty pretty good improvement to what I had before, to the Sir pickups,
Huh.
my opinion. Yeah. But you know, it's kind of hard to compare pickups because it's always a different guitar. And if
Yeah.
you would constantly take them out and solder and everything, it would take way too much time. And by that time, you already have forgotten how the other pickups sounded. So it's a difficult process.
It is.
Anyway, I'm happy with mine, and I at a certain point I think they will be available, or I don't know. I leave that up to Ola. So
Okay.
Ola, if I unveiled a secret that I was not supposed to tell
Sorry. We're sorry.
people, then I'm really sorry, and please punish me.
Well, all that we need to talk then. If if you like, we'll talk about it again, and then I'll talk to
Yeah.
all about it because you know I don't mind. I mean,
Oh,
I love the Surfs though. I love the ones that
yeah,
came
no,
with
they're
it.
great.
They are great, great
They're great.
pickups. And but you know, I am not opposed to trying new things for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody saying
And
that
I'm just
Gustavo
reading.
also has those new pickups.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So if Fed V knows that Gustavo has pickups, it's not that much of a secret anymore, is it?
I guess not. Right?
Oh, don't worry. Whoever Fed V is, maybe it's Ola.
Gustavo posts something to, so it's already out.
Okay.
It's already out.
Yeah. Okay. Secret is out. Great pickups. Yeah, and I'm happy because to me, like for instance, the neck humbucker sounds way better in terms of clarity and because I like dark tones in general. I'm not, you know,
Me too.
I don't want to cut through people's heads. I'm not a treble fan. And but these have clarity and a fat tone kind of for a jazz sound, which is great. So I'm very happy. All of the pickups sound great. I have three humbucker, single coil humbucker, but especially I'm especially in love with the neck humbucker. No.
Okay. You know, for me,
Because at
that's the
home
most
I'm mostly,
important one too. Go ahead.
yeah. I was just saying at home I play mostly clean. I mean, I do play distorted, but when I'm practicing, I don't practice distorted all the time. Actually, rarely. Because clean is kind of when you play legato, it's a little bit more challenging
Yeah.
to still make it nice and fluid. And so I just want like a comfortable, nice sound. It's interesting. Many people don't even think about which pickup that there is a pickup select switch and that each pickup has a like a different characteristic. I mean,
Oh,
once
yeah.
you know it, of course. But some people, I remember when I was teaching a lot, they came into the lesson, they always were on their bridge humbucker, but we were playing clean. I said, okay, come on, we're working on chords and comping. So can you tone it down a little bit. Oh, really? And there was one student of mine who admitted that he has never touched a tone knob on his guitar.
Oh my God.
And I was surprised by that because usually when you get something you try everything out and said, I've never touched it. I said, okay, good. So now you got more value in your guitar because there's another toy.
Yep.
Anyway,
You know, I particularly in this guitar, I like the neck a lot. Um, and I bought the classic, and the classic, I really like the fourth position on that guitar.
uh-huh.
It's super nice for
Before
chords.
you mean middle and bridge or middle and neck? What
Middle
is
and
number four?
bridge,
I don't know how you count.
middle and bridge
Okay, good. Yeah,
for chords for
yeah,
that on that guitar. Um,
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
yeah,
It's a nice instrument too.
yeah. I actually did a video for Ola that will be hopefully out at some point because I did it where I'm showing those pickups and I thought a good idea might be just playing the same phrase with each pickup set. So I did that and then I improvised a little bit so they can hear it. Yeah, let's see. At some point it will be out, I
Okay.
guess. Okay,
Well,
Ola, I'm telling all the secrets.
yes,
I
just
think I'm in
just a
for.
few. That's it.
I'm in trouble. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Hola, don't punish anybody. Um,
Okay,
so
please.
some people, people that don't know you, but you've been around for a while and you've played
Yeah,
with a lot of people. So out of all,
yeah.
let me ask you something just for my curiosity, I guess. Of as a sideman, who do you feel most
Yeah.
comfortable with or challenged by? Whose music? Those are two questions, actually.
Um, Most challenged, probably anything that had to do with Virgil Donati was the most challenging. I played in Planet X for a tour, and before that, I already played in Virgil's band, and that music is just challenging because Virgil wrote it, and I remember that there was one. It kind of started back in the times when there was still MySpace. I received a MySpace message from Virgil, who seemingly asked around, "Is there any guitar player?" And somebody, I think Brett Garsett, recommended me. Maybe somebody else. I don't know. Uh, and he sent me a tune, and he sent me the a lead sheet to that tune or a score. And I'm listening to the tune and go, "Oh, you sent me the wrong sheet." And only to realize, no, it is the right sheet. It's just rhythmically so twisted that I heard it differently. So it made sense once I deciphered it. And I'm a good reader. I'm not scared. I've been reading all my life. So for a guitar player, I'm a great reader. For a musician, I'm an okay reader, right?
I
Because the
get
guitar
that.
players kind of suck. But I'm a pretty good reader. So usually stuff like that doesn't happen to me, but with that one, yeah, he kind of caught me. And there were some songs that were just rhythmically, also technically super difficult. So I would say Virgil gets the first prize,
Okay.
I suppose.
How do
Yeah.
how do you practice those when you have to, go on tour with those guys?
Well, I have that program Transcribe, and usually what you get is like an MP3 or just some audio file, and sometimes I'm lucky and I get written music, and sometimes I have to transcribe everything myself. But at any rate, I just slow it down to whatever is somewhat comfortable, and just keep playing it over and over and over again until it works.
Yep.
You can also loop in transcribe.
Hmm.
I mean, of course, if you slow it down that much, there is the point where it sounds really shitty.
Yeah,
But when I'm in that practice mode, I don't really care so much about that. I just want to play to the track. And then, of course, before I can play to the track, I have to work out all the fingerings. So, for instance, if there is something that's super fast, uh, you have to do damage control and find a fingering that's somewhat I wouldn't say natural, because usually it's not natural,
hmm.
but that will work at a certain speed, and everyone's fingers are different. So, for instance, some people don't stretch. Some people are great pickers, and so you have to adapt the fingering
Yeah,
um, to your habits or whatever, or what's closest to your habits. Once that's worked out, and once I understood everything rhythmically, and once, then I just keep playing it and try to memorize it. And because it's kind of not with Planet X, there was no way that I could be on stage with a music stand.
I see.
That's not the band for. And in general, I actually prefer memorizing the music. It's a little bit closer to making music,
Hmm.
I suppose,
It frees you
and not
to
being
act.
glued.
You don't have to be attached to the paper anymore, and you have to
Yeah,
can actually create.
yeah. Plus, usually, like with many band, just in general, I have to operate the pedals. I want to change sounds. I want to do this. Just imagine if I can at least eliminate one thing of looking at the music. Okay, great. So I don't have to look at the music,
Yeah.
and maybe I step on the right pedal the next time.
Last time we talked, I was getting ready for a gig. I remember I told you. It was a
Yeah.
classical, contemporary classical thing. It was pretty fun to play, actually. It's on YouTube now. And it was hard music.
Okay,
It
I'll
was really
watch
hard
it.
music. Huh? Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
I will
I
watch.
got the mix of that recently, so I have to put it up. But it's there already.
Okay.
But I have to publish it, I think it is. But
Mm-hmm.
it was a cello, percussion, which is vibraphones and some other stuff. Um,
Yeah.
Piano, computer, and me. I think that's what it was. And it was really fun to play. It was different, totally different. Like
Mm-hmm.
20th century music. And
Nice.
but he gave me a lot of spots to improvise, and that was pretty cool too.
Oh wow, great. Yeah.
He said, read this, but you can play this too. And the reading was hard. It was like getting together with the cello, who is of course a classically trained cellist. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And playing with her, it was like, okay, let's do this. It was fun to play though. But I see what you mean, because
Well,
uh-huh.
now go ahead. I have a story.
For people that don't play guitar, they don't get why fingerings for us are so important. Because it's like, if you can play the same thing in 3 different places on the guitar. And it's like,
Yeah, of
you can
course.
play
Yeah.
it here, but you can play it here or here. So which one is better? I can play the same note in 3 places. Depending on how I play it, it's a different thing. And if you're not a
I used
guitarist,
to
you don't
play
know that.
when I was. I know. When I was still in Austria, I played a couple of productions with. It's like Ensemble Modern, but it's an Austrian version of that. And my very first one, of course, usually there's the point when the composer is present. So I got the score. I already thought, okay, this is really difficult. Like every bar was a different time signature and a different
Yeah,
tempo.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just some clearly somebody hums regularly Planet X in the shower.
Nice.
Okay, good, yeah.
Nice.
Nice showers.
Nice.
So anyway, so I had lots of lines with a saxophone player in unison. So I practiced the stuff. I could somehow play it, of course not perfectly, but I realized I was never together with the saxophone player. And then, but the saxophone player, he did that ensemble for a long time, so he was kind of already used to that. And later on, I asked him. He's a good friend of mine. I said, "Did you really read that?" And he said, "No. I mean, I made 2,000 mistakes. I just played the direction, approximately." And the composer loved the saxophone player. Couldn't even hear that that he was playing all wrong. Yeah, he just was impressed by the attitude, and so approximately he did the right thing. And then later on, both of us practiced it,
Okay.
and then just before the gig, my friend went, "Oh, I didn't look at this. Well, okay, sorry." But it was interesting. All about it was just basically, if you play something if you deliver with conviction, and if you don't say, "Oh, I'm sorry," you just go after you play it. Yeah, I nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
even the composer didn't hear it. Yeah? It was interesting. Talk about fingerings for Alex. There's a new sheriff in town. There's not much to talk about. It's just my fingerings. I mean, they would be different for anyone else. I will not say a tap now, but all I can say about fingerings is we think about it like this. For instance, if you're a great picker, then maybe you can lay it out that you cross more strings. If you're not such a great picker, it might make sense to limit the amount of strings where you have to play a certain line. If you're good at changing positions or stretching or whatever, so keep that in mind. Whatever is closest to your playing. I'm just trying to answer some questions. To
Yeah.
whom?
Good.
Maler. Yeah. I think that's probably a good indicator, something that feels somewhat natural to you. And sometimes you play stuff where you go, there is no way this will ever feel natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what to do? Nothing to do.
And the thing is, everybody has a different muscles are different. I mean, the way you feel.
Absolutely, different. Yeah.
The guitar you play.
For instance, interesting is, yeah, a simple example would be if you play like the typical 3-note per string major scale. Some people, I like to stretch between 1 and 2 and then 4. Like if I play C, D, E.
Yeah, that's what I
do. I stretch here. But many people played 1, 3, 4. Mm-hmm. Many people prefer that. Not judging anything. I'm just doing it 1, 2, 4 for my reasons. But keep that in mind. So, like that there is already some people gravitate more towards that. Others gravitate more towards that. So therefore, whenever you work on a line or a piece of music, customize your fingerings so that it's closer to what feels good for you. That's my
yeah.
Okay, let's get off fingerings. It's boring.
People like Wes Montgomery, man. I mean, where he played with 3 fingers, pretty much. He never used this one. Everything he played was just 3. And what he did.
Yeah, or Django Reinhardt.
Or Django, yeah.
Or I mean,
2 fingers, pretty much.
It's amazing, yeah. It is amazing.
So it's a matter.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's a matter of the way your hand is shaped. For me, if you see my hand, I have some weird things here on this finger.
I saw that,
so it's different, and the type of guitar you play is also different. If you play a large scale guitar, it might be more difficult to play some things. Or like for me, for example, I have a Les Paul, and even that Les Paul, which is thinner than the normal ones, I don't feel comfortable doing fast things on it. I can play chords, I can play stuff, but it's too thick for me. So I guess it's a matter of what you get used to.
I had a baritone guitar for a while. A friend of mine loaned me a baritone, and I liked it quite a bit. And I played there was a certain period of time where I played a lot on it. And then switching to the normal guitar, I felt like, what's the problem on the normal guitar? Because I got so used to this huge neck and huge distance between the frets. And then when I took my regular guitar, I felt like I have a kid's guitar in my hand. But the problem is that only that feeling lasted maybe an hour. And after that, it's back to normal. Okay. But it's interesting.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Please.
Do you play, like, okay, you have the Strandberg. My problem now, after I played Strandberg, it's really hard for me to play any other thing. Like 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, or no, actually 45 minutes ago, I was playing something on one of my Ibanez's, and it feels so
Yeah.
small now. Like the like it feels different.
Yeah.
Like I got so used to the Strandberg, it's hard for me to switch now. I have to take a couple of minutes to get used to it.
I, as an electric guitar, I mostly play my Strandberg, and other than that, I have an acoustic guitar. It's not hard to switch for me because the acoustic is a different instrument because it's an acoustic guitar anyway to begin with. Yes, sure. I mean, with certain guitars, I don't have that many guitars, let's put it like that. And most of my other guitars are in my closet and are only taken out when really needed.
Okay.
So I'm trying to limit myself to one guitar. I want to have one guitar and do everything with that guitar. I prefer that.
That makes sense.
Makes my life easier, and also, I don't know, I think it influences how you approach the instrument, because if you want a certain sound, you have to tickle that sound out of that guitar. And I'm talking about minor little things, right? But yeah, I don't know. That's how I look at it.
When you tour, how many guitars do you take with you then?
Yeah, one.
One?
Yeah.
So if you break a string, you have to wait. They have to wait until you change it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it never happened so far. I never broke a string on or in a long time, to say at least. No, I don't break strings that often, and I'm trying to take care of of the string condition. If I see they are already kind of ready to go, then I will obviously change the strings right in time. But no, I don't break strings. But I don't bend much. I have to say that, obviously if you, I just bend a little bit here and there. I used to bend 0, and now I'm bending a little bit more occasionally here and there, but I don't bend minor thirds or anything.
Well, when I played heavy metal, I used to bend a lot, and now I don't
Yeah,
anymore. So I very rarely do. It's funny because I recorded for somebody challenged me, a friend of mine challenged me to a metal solo. So I did the Trooper just for fun. But then for me, that have not been in a long time, it was like, oh my God, my fingers are, I was done after, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, of course. String gauge, that's a question, 10 to 46, just a regular. Sometimes I feel like I should try out 11s again, because it's kind of, I like the sound, but 10s seem to be a good compromise for everything. 9s for me, definitely too skinny. Because, with a hybrid, I mean, it's probably possible, but you really have to adjust. I once played on one of Holdsworth's guitars, and he played 8.
How could he do that?
I don't know. I remember I took it in my hand and played just something, and it was already out of tune because I put too much pressure, right, on each note that I fretted. I'm sure you can get used to that, and if you only play like many people say, he only played hammer-ons. Yeah, that's probably easier then, or makes sense for that. But I'm also playing lots of chords, and I want a little bit of a fatter, more substance in the tone. Let's put it like that. And thicker strings obviously do have that. I think what do you usually use as touring rig? Yeah, well, my Strandberg guitar and my pedal board, and that's it. And then I'm at the mercy of the
venue engineers,
whatever they have there. So that was a funny story. I once played, I think last year, I played somewhere close to Berlin, and there was a guitar amp I did not know. I turned it on and play, and somebody told me, yeah, this is like a Fender Deluxe, whatever. I thought, okay, great. Yeah, I didn't know the brand. And I turn it up, and nothing comes out. And at the end, I cranked it fully up, but it was still super silent. Fortunately, the sound engineer was really nice and put me in the monitor, so we kind of survived the gig. after the gig, when I was packing up, I'm behind the amp and see there's a tiny switch called stealth. So it was that one switch that basically made it a practice amp, maybe probably going down to 1 watt. That was the reason. I thought, okay, I learned my lesson. From now on, if something feels weird, I'll always go behind the amp and look for a stealth or whatever lowering wattage switch.
That's funny. You know, we all have some story like that, I guess. But you know, it's a lot easier now because you can travel with, you know, I have a Helix or a Fractal or something like that, and now you have your sound in one place. How do you
Yeah.
feel about traveling? I mean, but for me, you know, we are old school. I like to have my amps in my back. I like to have my speaker telling me something
Yeah,
on
me
stage.
too.
How do you feel about it? Yeah?
No, absolutely. Because to me, it starts with the band on stage has to sound good. So if I'm only at the mercy of a sound engineer or some shitty monitor boxes or monitor speakers or whatever, that doesn't work for me. I want to be able to turn it up, turn it down, and basic EQ it, you know? Because you have some sound engineers who are having a hard time with me having a dark sound and they crank up the treble. Well, I can't do anything about that. I can try talking to that person. Usually I fail. sometimes I don't fail. Sometimes I'm convincing. But at least I can make a good sound for me on stage, or a somewhat good sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can also tell the sound engineer, well, listen to that sound. This is how I want to sound. Yeah, this is the source. Maybe you can just translate that. And I worked out a couple of strategies to not offend them instantly and kind of collaborate. Why hybrid picking? What are you approach to practice that and apply hybrid picking? Why? Why? Because I can play lines when I pick, but I can also play chords. So that just by itself, by nature, using the pick and the fingers simultaneously is already called hybrid picking. So I'm doing that like many people. That started, you know, I started out as a classical guitar student. I was horrible at that. Yeah? But once, so it was easier for me to play with the fingers, and then for lines, I started using a pick, and then I used to put the pick in my mouth for a chord. It's dangerous. You might swallow the pick.
Yeah.
Looks silly, and some people just glued it onto their head, and then it just came natural, and then I just started incorporating those fingers, and that's my approach because it's easier. I can have both in the same everything in my hand. Also, Gustavo Assis Brazil joined, so of course I'm hybrid picking.
Gustavo, how are you, man? So Gustavo is one of the masters at that, you know, of all the hybrid picking thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Gustavo Assis Brazil, he has several books on hybrid picking, and you should check him out. I mean, he's amazing, an amazing player, and the books are great.
Yeah, yeah. I have 2 of his books, but I didn't work through all 2. I only worked a little bit in book 1, and out of exercise number 2, I wrote a song because it's so inspiring.
Look what he says.
I always tell that story, kind of like, because you know it's just an open string exercise, and I thought, okay, it's great with open strings. Let's put some notes to that. Great, okay, so I put notes to that, and the song is called "Along Came a Spider." It's on that Improvision album for those who are interested. It's basically Gustavo's song. But sorry, Gustavo, I'm so poor I cannot send you the royalties I'm not getting. Amazing and humble. Yeah. Who, Gustavo?
Well, you know, with the money we make in jazz is
the tens and tens of dollars.
Yeah. It's like
it's okay. You know, I never expected to be rich or anything. I cannot complain because I can survive. I don't have to work another job. So, oh, he needs my money. No, Gustavo, you will not get my money.
You know,
because it's too little. No, but I'm just saying, Gustavo, don't interrupt my thoughts about the beauty of life. if you can survive doing what you're doing, then you're already really successful.
Yep.
So all the stories about rock stars and being super rich, in times of streaming online services. Today I got my checks from Amazon. I made 28 cents. I got two checks.
Ouch.
One for 9 cents, one for 19, I think. And so, yeah, great. I put it on the bank, and I hope I will not spend it all at once.
You know, I usually get not much, but some good things from my royalties every year. But the streaming
Yeah,
is lossable. It's like, okay, that's my streaming check, whatever that is. It's like, oh, $1 or less. It's like, or nothing. It's like, oh, okay, streaming is not happening. You know, people don't know it, but for us artists in general, streaming is nothing. I mean, people can, you know, it's better if you buy one CD from directly from
yeah,
me or Alex or Gustavo, whoever, give some more
yeah,
money to the artist than 1,000 streams.
yeah. I once received an email from a customer who kind of complained, "Hey, why is your music not on Spotify anymore?" And I wrote back to him. I said, "Look, the amount that I'm making on Spotify is so little. I'd rather make a statement. I don't know if it even works, you know, but I rather not support that." And he said, "Oh, I didn't know that," and he bought my entire catalog.
Yep, yep,
So just with that one explanation, him buying the like I don't know 8, and by that time it was just 8 CDs or maybe 9 CDs. Yeah, I made compared to Spotify, I made a killing, right?
yeah, yeah,
That
definitely.
would be millions of streams, which in my music I will never get, which is fine. I'm doing a niche product. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying that whole streaming model just simply doesn't work out for small
Nope.
artists. It's just not worth it. So I chose not to be on Spotify. I know it's convenient for people. On the other hand, you know, I have to stick to my yeah, to my morals, and I feel like to my principles. I just want to say to everyone who hears wants to listen, it's not a viable model.
Definitely not. You know,
It just doesn't work.
for me, the record label put it there, so it's everywhere because the record label did it. I didn't do it.
Yeah,
And you know, it
I
was
know.
like, okay, it's another way to at least people know you through it, but money making
Yeah,
is not happening for any of us. Um, it's funny how, you know, when we play concerts and then we sell this amount of CDs, then
yeah,
we make some money out of that, and that would be like you said, millions of you know streamings or streams,
yeah.
and we're never gonna get that as the kind of music we
It
do.
and it, you know what really bothers me, that we always have to bring it up and talk about it in our profession, because in other professions people of course pay. You go to Starbucks, you buy something, you pay. Your toilet is
Hmm.
clogged and the shit is coming up, you hire a plumber, of course you pay him. But for some reason, yeah, music is supposed to be free. And
Hmm.
I remember the time when it started with all those torrents, yeah, and people sharing the
Yep, yep.
music on the internet. Yeah. And then I wrote back to some of those people, hey, if you are so much into sharing, why don't let's share your girlfriend? Are you that? Because you defend sharing so much, so you must really love that concept. Hey, I'll give her back. I'm just sharing. Yeah. Didn't get a great response. Yeah. Because that's when they realized, no, I don't like sharing. No. Yeah.
Yep,
So
definitely. No.
it's interesting. And the sharing is always more welcomed if it works in your favor. It's never
Yeah.
welcomed if you have to give up something. Yeah? So what I hate is that we stupid musicians, we always have to talk about money as if that was any kind of like even mentionable amount. Yeah, it's not. It's just like just surviving. We're just talking about sustaining like a normal low income lifestyle. And we have to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it, but sometimes people provoke me with that whole streaming shit. Oh, it's great.
Mhm.
It's a convenient. Yeah, great.
For me, what I do, because I'm on the other side, so we know what it is to be on the other side. What I
Yeah,
do is I buy the records from my friends, and then I listen on stream anyway. But I have my records too. I have my CDs here. I
yeah,
I have your CDs. I have Gustavo's, the chromatic one, and I listen to it also. Streaming. It's fine. I mean, I because it's convenient, but I like to have the
sure.
actual product because I know that goes to you. Now the thing, I know people don't think about this either. I remember Frank Gambale told me this many years ago, like 15 years ago. I bought an album from Amazon, from one of his albums, and he told me directly. He said, "Why didn't you buy it from me? Because I
Yeah,
make the money if you buy it from me. I don't make the money if you buy it from Amazon." And I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, that is true. I mean, if you want to support an artist, especially nowadays with all the COVID thing, go ahead and what happened here? Oh, I changed my
This is a
camera.
beautiful picture of you.
Yeah, that's Altiverb. How
Your
do I,
name is
how do I change
Rocky,
that back?
right?
Here,
Okay.
anybody help? Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Beautiful picture of mine. The studio I don't have.
Yeah.
So if you can buy directly from the artist, it's a lot better for all of us, for any artist. The thing is, when you don't, let's say you share or you download stuff. I had one student coming to me once, and he told me, "Man, I got your CD." I was like, "Oh, so cool. Where did you buy it? Because you didn't buy it from me." I downloaded it. And I was like, "What? You downloaded it for free? So, and you are telling me you downloaded it?" That's kind of you don't say that. You don't do that. But
Yeah.
it's the reality now, I guess, we are living in. But if you want to support the artist, guys, you are listening, buy directly. It's better than anything else.
Leo Testoni also mentioned something really important. Problem is the lack of names. You don't know the
Of
musicians,
course.
studios, audio engineers, and anything.
Hmm.
I remember when I was growing up, before the First World War, because I'm old. Um, that was a
Man,
joke.
I am a little
Um,
older than you, so don't say that.
maybe, but when I was growing up, I had vinyl. I loved those album covers, and I immersed myself in those covers. I was listening to the record. Of course, you had to take care of the actual record, and then you already knew where to put the needle to hear that one part again or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was really studying all the credits, especially in the beginning. You don't when you start out being interested in any genre of music, you don't know what's out there, right? So then you see, oh, that drummer is all playing on this record. Oh, I
Hmm.
love that drummer. Great. When you go to the record store and you look at the credits. With streaming, it's kind of like it's a level that's gone.
Yep.
So I also remember when I was teaching at MI, some of my lessons were basically just used to point like a good musical diet out to people. Like if you want to play jazz, you should know this guy, this guy,
Hmm.
this guy, this guy, this guy. And sometimes I also ask them, tell me your favorite trumpet player. Tell me name two piano players. And some of those students couldn't name two bass players.
Yep.
Yeah, of course they couldn't. So I just try to underline the importance of knowing who's playing there, because that person maybe plays with somebody else,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. So I think that it is really important. And then if you have a record that sounds really good, now you have to look it up on the interweb and can be happy if you find the information. But maybe you like that sound engineer, and maybe you want him to mix your next record, or you want to try him out or see if he would be available to do it. All of that stuff. If you don't have any knowledge who did it, well, how can you start to connect?
That
Yeah,
is true. That
difficult.
is true. Big part of it.
Just saying.
I hope, well, I hope people can go back and buy. See, these were up actually, and vinyl went up this year, I think, or last year, from what it was
Yeah,
before. So that's a good sign. And the thing is also MP3s. When people buy MP3s, they are so shitty sounding, and people don't get it. It's like some people don't get it. It's like they don't sound good. Period. I mean,
Yeah.
MP3s is a downscaled version of what you get when you buy an album or a CD.
But hey, Socrates, we sound like old men now. We should switch the topic.
Let's switch.
So that was our rant about everything was much better back then.
You know,
Some parts were much better.
but it's funny. You know, Liam told me like 2 days ago. I said we were talking about the music business, and I
Yeah.
told him something. And he said, "Dad, in your time it was like that." I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." I told him,
Yeah.
Liam, I've been doing this for 30 years, so I kind of know what it is. And he told me, your time was like that. No, we don't do that anymore. I was like, oh my God, what was that? Maybe we are getting old after all.
No, of course we're getting old because we've just imagine growing up pre-internet. I had lots of time. I grew up pre-cell phone, pre-fax,
Yep.
hey, we had a good life. We also could meet friends,
Yep.
even without a cell phone. Can you imagine that? Yeah? And then still worked. You didn't have to read 200 texts. Oh my God, I'm a little late. Well, I don't want to even read that. I mean, just be there on time, or I will wait anyway, or whatever. But that constant distraction nowadays of I'm getting up in the morning, I'm checking my email, I'm checking my Facebook, I'm checking my Instagram sometimes. Still, I'm not accustomed to that Instagram is a messenger medium. But what else should I check? Back in the day, I was just getting up and thinking about, okay, great, coffee.
Yep.
And I'm still doing coffee, and let's practice or let's do something. Yeah. And because nowadays I'm getting so much spam in my email. So there's a certain amount of minutes that I have to erase or delete all that spam. Yeah. That's part of my day. Why? This is actually not really important. And out of, I don't know, 50 emails, there might be one that's actually for me.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
The rest is everything from, well, all those spams. And so on. So I just, and then we get stuck in Facebook because, blah, blah, blah. When I was young, there was no Facebook, and I had a good life, and
yeah,
I didn't miss anything.
And we had time to do other things and meet people and go talk and do things.
What do you mean meeting people? Is that still a thing?
It's funny.
Really?
In my house, sometimes I have to text Liam, come here. Because, I can't find him. It's like I go to his room, he's not there.
Yeah.
He might be in the studio, but still, it's like, okay, Liam. But sometimes it's easier for me to text him than to come and talk to him. And that's
because
not
he
good.
Will answer.
that is not good, man.
Well, I think the biggest punishment would be for him to take away his cell phone, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember that was a punishment for him. It was like, yeah, for 2 days, you're not going to have cell phone. Well, now we can't do it. He's almost 18 now.
You can still do it. Come on.
I hope he's listening.
Yeah, I hope. Hey, Liam, this is for you. Just wait until I come to the house. I'm going to give you shit. I'm going to steal your cell phone. No, I will not.
Oh, man. So, any other questions for Alex? We have about 6 minutes before Instagram kick us out. Let me see.
Really? They kick us out?
Huh? They only give you 1 hour.
They kick us out?
Yeah,
okay.
1 hour.
Any questions? Let me scroll if I did miss any questions, because sometimes it goes fast. Oh,
Elvis, buenas noches.
Let me read through everything.
Effects, amplification, and modelers. Javiero, my good friend Javiero. He says, thoughts on effects, amplification, and modelers. Your thoughts?
On modelers, like amp modelers.
Yeah.
Do you mean that?
He has a fractal.
Great. I mean,
he was an amp guy for many years.
Great.
He had Mesa Boogies, and now he's using only fractals. I know him, so very, very, very close.
Well, I think to get into that, just imagine nowadays. I still have the first fractal, the Ultra, and I don't feel like I fully used like I used everything. Recently, I looked up how many amps and caps and whatever the newest Fractal has. The amount is insane. It's absolutely insane. I do have an HX Stomp, and even there, I haven't tried all the different effects and stuff. I think it's amazing what these things can do. Even the amp simulation in Logic that comes with Logic is actually not that crappy. It's usable. Of course, you have to dial in something that's good. I love the fact that I can like save a preset and I record something, and then on the next day with fresh ears, I listen to it. And if there's that one note that I want to fix, I can fix that one note and it doesn't sound different. It's pretty much same, like at least in a day, unless your strings get old. That's a different story. But if the strings are in approximately the same condition, I tried to do the same thing when I was still recording with an amp. I left everything the same, didn't touch anything, and it did not sound the exact same. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes I could punch in that one note. Not that I'm always punching in that one note. That's not my main goal. But I'm just saying the convenience of a modular is great. Yeah. Plus, we don't have to annoy our neighbors that much. You know, can turn it down. There is so much out there. Like if I ever buy a new Fractal or maybe that floor unit that they have, that looks interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure if I will ever check out all combinations that I could come up with because it's so much. So that's my thoughts on effects. And with effects, of course, people still sell effect pedals because you can touch them and dial in something. Yeah, that haptic or tangible approach, that's a good thing. On the other hand, you can't sometimes use all the presets, and then somewhere in between, I think I have a mix. I have the HX Stomp on my board and a couple of pedals, so I can adjust something on the fly. I just think it's wonderful that we get so much stuff now, basically for very little money. Because if you buy Logic, it's $200. The full package. You can produce grade A albums just with Logic, with nothing else, if you want to. Yeah, of course, you have to learn every plugin and play with it. Maybe you need one or two other plugins, who knows? Yeah, but I think people did albums with GarageBand, so I think we're in that's such a luxury, like a luxurious time that we're living in. Like one little thing that can so much and at a very high level. Back in the day, I remember I had the SPX 92 that already had multi-effects. The multi-effects sucked. They didn't sound good. So basically, you had to have one rack unit for one effect. And back in the late 80s, 90s, pedals weren't that fashionable. The pedals had a comeback. Back in that time, you had to have a rack. So that became heavy and everything. So I think it's just wonderful what we have, but we have to put in time and dial in nice sounds and maybe come up with new sounds because it's so much easier. Not just what I don't get. I'm in a rant mood. Why do we all try to get that sound from blah 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 from blah blah blah? No, come up with your own sound. Maybe there is that one little thing that no one else did or whatever. Make it a habit of looking for that one little thing.
Yep. You know what I'm enjoying now, Alex? I just got the Torpedo Reload, the 2 notes, which allows me to use my amps through it, and then I can actually use my amps at a low level. I still record, high gain at a low level.
Yeah.
Which is, I just got it like a few days ago, and today we finished connecting everything, and it's amazing.
Cool.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the tools are all out there. It's just amazing. So we can't really complain.
Yep, definitely not. Well,
back in the 80s, when we were thinking of if I only could, yeah. Nowadays,
now we
everything
can.
at our fingertips.
Anybody can.
Now we can.
Hey, Alex, thanks, man. We have about 45 seconds. Thanks for doing this, man. It's great. It's great seeing you, and
my pleasure.
seeing that you are healthy and
Same to you.
doing well.
well, healthy. That's a little bit exaggerated. No, I'm kidding. Sick in my head. No, it's all good here. I'm working on lots of things. Blah 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 blah. Follow me on Instagram if you want, so that I don't know, whatever, or
Please,
don't.
buy your records. That's what I would say to anybody. Buy Alex's records,
Yeah.
buy Gustavo's records. So Alex, there was one more question from Leo.
What's your favorite keyboardist you have worked or would like to collaborate? There are a couple of, there are a handful some that I worked with that I really love. Just played with Scott Kinsey, and I played with him many gigs before that. It's always a pleasure playing with Scott. I did a duo record with Gary Husband, which was also fun because I love Gary Husband's piano playing. That record was only piano, no keyboards.
That's a great album.
And the interesting thing with oh, thank you. But the thing with Gary is like the way he comps, like the voicings. He's a little bit of an unconventional keyboard player, or I just love everything he does. Steve Hunt, I played lots of gigs, but well, already a couple of gigs with Steve Hunt. He's great pleasure to work with. Who else? Well, these are Mitch Foreman is great, Matt Rohde. There are just so many really good guys out there. And whenever they play, I feel like, okay, I feel very small.
You mentioned Scott Kinsey.
Yeah.
I have I don't know if you know Pat Coyle. Pat was the keyboardist for Tribal Tech before Scott Kinsey.
Okay.
And now he plays with Michael McDonald. He's the pianist for Michael McDonald and Olivia Newton-John. And he's my when I lived in Nashville, he recorded everything I did pretty much. So he's a great player, super nice guy from Nashville. So if you don't know him, Leo, you can check him out too. He has a new album out too, Pat Coyle. Great piano player, jazz and whatever. And great synthesizer player, great keyboard player too.
And I'm probably forgetting 50 other ones that I should mention now. It's always difficult. But I remember like one interesting thing is like when as a guitar player and playing with a piano player or a keyboard player, I don't want let's put it like that. When they solo, some of them solo, then they go into full piano mode, and let's say a quartet, bass, drums, bass, keyboards, and guitar. As soon as there's a piano solo, you should be careful as a guitar player what you do. You don't want to get in their way. But sometimes I feel like, as soon as the keyboard players start to solo, it becomes a piano trio. But there are some who don't do that thing, who almost like sit on their left hand and let me comp, which is nice because then we can actually the four of us can make music together. So I think the interaction between piano and guitar is something to be really looked at. Yeah. Yep. And maybe you can also tell your piano player, hey, you don't have to comp yourself just because you can. I can also comp you. Make it a little bit more intertwined.
Yep. Well, it changes when you have a piano player. One great example of that is Wes Montgomery with in the smoking at the half note. That's a great album, and you can hear him and oh my God, who was the pianist on that album? Help me.
I don't know the album.
It was Jimmy Cobb, Paul Chambers, and anybody? Oh my God, I know my history. I just blank on the name. Well, the thing is, Wynton Kelly and Wes Montgomery. You can hear that interaction between those two monsters. Yeah. That's a great one to learn from.
Yeah, so that's something that I'm always looking for is the keyboard player actually inviting me to participate in the group while he's soloing. Yeah.
or can you go and drink a beer?
Just excluding me. Huh?
Or can you go and drink a beer while he plays?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, with some of those people, it's like, okay, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to to try to comp, because I mean it depends on how they play. Not saying it should happen all the time, but in the course of a gig, it would be nice to not always just stand around and do nothing because, hey, there's a piano concerto going on. And
Nice.
sometimes also for the keyboard player to lay out when I'm soloing. Doesn't have to comp me all the time. Save it, yeah. Build it up and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Because this is our encore.
Encore, yeah. I've never done this before, so it's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's Instagram Live Encore. Wow. Hey, we're coming up
You
with
see?
some really great branding here, huh? No, we don't have
Oh
any
gosh.
questions.
Let's see.
Virgil is a good piano player too. That's true. Yeah, he practices the piano. Yeah, it's true.
You know, I didn't know that until I saw him, well, with you, with your album, and then I saw something he did playing piano with the WDR, playing one of Holsworth's charts on piano with the
Yeah.
big band. That was pretty cool too.
My wife asks which guitar to choose, acoustics guitar or electric. Any recommendation for a beginner? Depends on the style of music you want to do. Just imagine, let's say you're a metal fan. You will not get that same sound of an acoustic guitar. But if you are, let's say, it depends on what kind of music, depends on what kind of music you're interested in, and which sound you prefer more. So it's hard to make a recommendation. I have to say that.
Yeah.
Do you write music before reaching or after reaching your instrument? Both. Sometimes I write something on the guitar. Sometimes I just write it I with my mouse into the computer, because I sing the notes and already know what it's supposed to be, and that's it's just two different types of writing.
Yeah.
You know, with on the guitar you find something that you like that lies good for you, like on the fretboard, for instance. But when you write something that you just sing, I think it's a little bit more pure, because that's just a musical thought, and then later on you find out, God damn it, now I have to find like a way to play that.
It. Yeah. Yep.
So I recommend both, but mostly I would recommend writing without your guitar, because most people write with their guitar anyway, and then all you get usually is you write something that you play anyway. But if you want to challenge yourself, you write something that you didn't play ever before, and then you also another thing maybe to that, whenever you practice something new, I think it's a good idea writing a song, making kind of etudes, or maybe even a song with a new concept, whatever it is. Let's say you work on your hybrid picking was named before. Well, then write maybe a little section that incorporates hybrid picking,
Mm-hmm.
so then you will not, then you have to use it because you want to play your songs.
Yep.
There are lots of really easy solutions to certain problems. Yeah.
Yep. You know.
Like for instance, when one more thing, sorry, when you learn new chord voicings, yeah, it's very easy to, or relatively easy to explain an abundance of chord voicings, and then the usual reaction I get is, "But I will never remember that." Yeah, that's true. If you look at it like that, yeah. But if you start using some of those voicings in your composition,
Yep.
then you will remember at least these. And guess what? After that, you'll find out that maybe you should also use similar voicings while you're playing, if you're playing chords, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of steers you into the right direction. You're opening a certain dialect, if you want. So,
and it's getting in your vocabulary as you if you do that.
yeah,
It gets under your fingers. You know, when you write with your guitar or piano, if you're a pianist, you get used to the things you know, to the things you already practiced.
Yeah.
So you write based on the shapes you know, on the licks you know. And when you write out of the instrument, away from the instrument, you're forced to do things from your mind, from your ears. And then you can apply those to your instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know, for me, I write for big orchestras, for big ensembles. And a lot of those things are not playable on the instrument, period. The way they are. Now, if I have to play it, I have to find a way to do it. and then
Yeah.
that's another maybe a chord that it's totally different from what I ever thought before, and now I have to learn that
Yeah.
chord.
Yeah. Fucking chord, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I have to do it.
Yeah. But that's good. That keeps us fresh and interested. Because that to me that's something I'm really looking for. I don't want to play. I mean, we are all repeating ourselves way too much,
Hmm.
if we're on being honest. But I'm really trying hard to find new things and incorporate them, and then maybe, maybe it becomes a part of my active vocabulary. And then for a while I'll be happy with that, and only later I will hate it again, and then I have to find something new again. Yeah, but that's called life, and that's very enjoyable. It's an enjoyable process for me
And the more you
because we
learn,
always have to stimulate
hmm
ourselves.
the more you learn, the more you want. It's evolving. You learn something today, you practice it, you learn it, you put it on in context, and then you get bored, and then you go for another
Yeah,
thing later, and that's what it is. Uh, saw a picture of you talking with Czech.
yeah. I went to a gig of Chick, Brian Blade, and Christian McBride, and Brian invited us. My wife recorded an album with Brian, so we also had backstage passes. And I talked to Chick, and I wanted to thank him because he wrote liner notes for the album with Gary. So I introduced myself and said, "Hey, I'm the guy who played with Gary." So we talked about that, and my wife took pictures, and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna make up this little photo story. Of course, he didn't say that, yeah. But the funny thing is that picture got lots of likes. People enjoyed my little Chicoria meme. I'm a huge Chicoria fan too. I remember I was listening a lot to the Acoustic Trio live album. Um, Tremendous playing, three quartets. What else? I think those were the albums that I listened to the most. And yeah, it's amazing.
Korea is amazing. I mean,
Uh,
anything he does is
well,
amazing. And
Chick has a great guitar player, so he doesn't need me. He's got Charles Altura, so it's fine. It's all good. Um,
you guys
plus,
together.
plus, I feel like I want to also stress there are so many youngsters who are great. So of course it's like, oh, he's like an icon, right? Wouldn't it be great to play with an icon? But I have to say I played already with with a good number of icons. I'm happy to, and I'm getting older, so I feel like I should play with younger, maybe more unknown people. I know it doesn't make so much sense, like from a selling standpoint, but you hear youngsters doing amazing things and go, yeah, great, yeah.
Yep.
Now it's the time that I'm not the youngest guy in the band anymore. Yeah, I should hire always young people.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's the
because
new
music
thing.
is moving forward, and so. And I mean, Chick is amazing. I looked up how old Chick is, and I've already forgot but I was really shocked how old is. When I talked to him, he didn't seem that age. We didn't talk
Hmm.
long, and I have to say that. He was really friendly after the gig and was kind of very nice and blah blah
I
blah.
met him
So
once
anyway,
briefly after a show. Well, not after a show, before a show for East Jack, which is the oh my God, International Society for Jazz Composers and Arrangers.
yeah,
And being he was going to be given an honor, like the lifetime award or something. And
yeah,
he's super nice. He's super nice
yeah,
and a monster. I mean, and and he's always had those amazing bands together.
yeah,
Frank Gambale or Scott Henderson with him or Al Di Meola with him. Um, it's amazing. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. But I'm just saying there are also so many young guys who also do amazing things, and yeah, it's not. I don't have a list of like, hey, I need to play with this guy and
Hmm.
that guy and this guy and that guy. It's not so important actually.
It's funny when it happened to me. I don't know if it happened to you. When you idolize somebody, and then you get to play with them and meet them as people. And then for me, it's always amazing when that happens. It's like, oh man, I met this guy and we are playing together. We are doing something together. And it's always great, especially when the people are nice. And both of us have had this situation several times, which is great. I know because you have your idols playing with you. I had my idols playing with me or in my band, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh my god.
I know, I know. Yeah. But all I'm saying is there are so many great musicians out there. It's not the most important thing
Nowadays,
to
a lot of the,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of kids, 20, 18, something, a lot of them are amazing at this point.
Yeah,
And it's like, you see these kids, it's like, oh my God, how is he
yeah,
doing that? I want to do something with
I
him,
know. Yeah,
Why not?
yeah. Plus they're probably cheaper, right?
Yeah, it's modern names so far.
I buy you a meal, and the guy goes, "Yeah, that's like 2 billion Spotify streams." Okay, yes, I'm in.
Oh my God.
Anyway, okay, let's wrap it up now with dignity. Yeah,
Now we can do
because
that.
before we got cut off. So to everyone, Hans Machacek, I know you from Panama. Yeah.
Oh, I thought is he a friend or relative or something?
Um, he's not a relative because the spelling is
Yeah, I
different.
know.
But I once played in Panama, and for some insane reason, there are lots of Machaceks in Panama, but it's a different spelling.
With a
And there
Z.
was, I think, Hans's father just couldn't get over the fact that I'm also a Machacek. I was playing there with UK. It was really funny. We spent a couple of days there. Yeah, maybe they are more from Poland. Who knows? My family is from Czechoslovakia, so from Czech Republic. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting. Like going to, you wouldn't expect that name in
No,
Panama.
definitely not.
I didn't expect that. Yeah. So anyway.
Well, now we can say
Yeah.
goodbye
Okay.
properly.
Let's say goodbye properly. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah, he confirms,
Yeah.
yes, the family is from Poland. Okay, good. So I remembered correctly. My brain is not 100% mush yet.
Well, guys,
Okay.
like I said before, buy albums from these people, Alex, Gustavo, any all the guys you admire. Buy albums because that's the only way we as artists, small artists in the jazz world, get something to keep doing what we do.
Yeah. I'm also buying albums, just so everyone knows.
Yeah,
I'm buying albums.
me too. I buy every month. I buy several every month. I'm waiting for your new one
rich.
to come
I
out.
buy one album a year. I mean, there's a difference. Yeah. But the concept stays the same.
I'm waiting for your new one when it comes out.
I'm working on a new one.
I'm excited. Well, I told you I'm on sabbatical now, so hopefully I will have the music ready for the new one before the end of the year.
Yeah,
ready for big band it's a lot. It's a lot
of course.
But I hope I can have it ready for us to do something.
Well then, get on with it, and I will do the same. Socrates, always a pleasure talking to you. We stay in touch. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and let's go to work now.
Yep, take care, my man. Thanks for being with us.
Take care. Bye. Bye.